Right now on KGW News, a wildfire whipped by the wind grows to 10,000 acres. Tonight, reinforcements are headed to eastern Oregon from all around the state. Plus,
it seemed like the entire police force arrived around the block.
Searching for an armed robber who officers say hit at least 4 people in a row, where they finally found him hiding. And later, hit by vandals. So what's the solution?
It's given me the tools to work more efficiently.
The new program giving local businesses part of the boost they need to bounce back. And we begin tonight with a wildfire burning out of control in eastern Oregon. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm David Molko. The Hat Rock fire has now scorched some 10,000 acres. Let's give you a look at the area we are talking about. This is in Umatilla County, just east of Hermiston this evening. There is a level 3 go now evacuation notice for the Juniper Canyon area. Governor Tina Kotek declaring a conflagration, which gets more resources in quicker. The state fire marshal's office is sending in 6 task forces to help manage this firefight, so it appears they're estimating this could take a while to get under control. Making matters even more challenging, gusty winds and heavy smoke, which grounded air support because it was just too dangerous to fly. If you're in the area, the Umatilla County Sheriff's Office is the one issuing evacuation notices. You're going to want to check their Facebook page for updates. Now, a smaller fire that is burning to the east in Pendleton is nearly contained tonight, held to about 600 acres. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino. Now, Matt, what are the winds doing out there right now?
You know what? They're backing off a bit, but these are some of the peak gusts that we had earlier in the day, and they really are impressive. We had a gust of 54 miles an hour at Maryhill, the Dalles 45, Pendleton 51, and Hermiston 47 miles an hour. So again, no surprise that fire was able to grow quickly. That's why we had a fire weather warning out there, because the potential for rapid fire spread with those winds, and that's exactly what happened. In the Portland area, it's a little breezy too. Gusts about 25 miles an hour here, but we're still getting gusts of 40 to 50 miles an hour out in the Columbia Basin right now, and much of the rest of eastern Oregon seeing gusts in the 30 mile an hour range. So strong winds will continue overnight, but they will begin to decrease overnight and tomorrow as well. It's going to stay breezy, but they won't be the raging winds that we saw this afternoon and this evening. They will be backing off. Perhaps the best news is relatively cool through the week, and we've got rain in the forecast for Sunday. David?
Yeah, a little bit of relief. Thank you, Matt. Let's get to a string of armed robberies now in North Portland, where police say a man with a gun committed at least 4 different crimes. This was along North Interstate Avenue near Going Street just before 5:30 this morning. Streets were closed off. Neighbors were ordered to stay inside as police searched for the suspect, who they say fired a handgun several times during one robbery and physically assaulted 2 people during another. One neighbor says his home security cameras recorded that suspect running to where he eventually was found hiding at a vacant home.
And they give him an opportunity to give himself up. And there's no action. So they throw a flashbang right there in front of him.
Police have not identified the suspect, though it appears to be the same person police busted back in early May for having drugs and a loaded gun. Let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines. Right now, Portland police are investigating a shooting in the Mount Scott Arleta neighborhood. This is video just into the newsroom. The scene on 74th Avenue in Ellis. That is right next to Mount Scott Park. You can see Portland police have red tape around a vehicle there. It's not clear yet if anybody was hurt, but our photographer on scene did see 2 ambulances leave that area with lights and sirens. Former President Donald Trump pleaded not guilty today to 37 felony charges that he illegally kept classified documents. Trump is accused of hoarding documents in a ballroom and bathroom at Mar-a-Lago, among other places, and refusing government demands to give them back. People in the courtroom this afternoon say the former president sat scowling with his arms crossed. Late this evening, the Republican frontrunner for the 2024 nomination returned to New Jersey, where he resumed fundraising. And in downtown Denver, police say a mass shooting during street celebrations last night marking the Nuggets NBA championship was likely sparked by a drug deal. Authorities say 10 people were shot, including one of the suspected shooters. Police say both suspects are now in custody. 5 victims remain in the hospital. All are expected to survive. Well, it's been a tough few years for Portland small businesses, and new at 11 hit by pandemic struggles plus crime and what feels like never-ending vandalism. Now the city is launching a new grant program to lift some of the burden around repair costs off their shoulders. Alma McCarty with those details.
In Northeast Portland, Rhythm Traders, open for more than 30 years, has occupied this corner since 2007.
We opened our doors to the public and offered repair and lessons and classes and workshops, and it's been mostly positive ever since.
Over the past few years, owner Brad Boynton says they've dealt with some negatives.
Businesses on MLK get hammered with vandalism and graffiti all the time. So for us, it's an almost weekly affair. Pretty quickly, your building can become derelict, and so you really have to stay on top of it.
So earlier this year, he applied for Prosper Portland's repair grant aimed at cleaning up storefronts.
Our windows get tagged pretty often. Oftentimes it's with like paint or a pen, and so we have to keep a gallon of acetone so we can clean those off.
And the nearly $10,000 has gone, he says, a long way, funding repairs and replacements like these vinyl window coverings.
Or we discovered we could actually make it look a lot better and then make it less enticing for break-ins at the same time just by covering up the windows.
Since mid-2021, Prosper Portland's awarded money to more than 600 small brick-and-mortar businesses for fixes like these. Now, the city's opening up a second companion grant program this week that goes a bit further than the first grant, as explained by Ellen Bolas-Edmonds.
This is in response to community sessions that what we have learned from the repair grant is that there are a lot of expenses that are essential to the business owners but are not covered by the repair grant.
The Restore grant program can provide up to $25,000 to cover things like interior repairs, inventory loss, and insurance increases. However, only small businesses in certain areas, those shaded in gray on this map, are eligible for funding. Boynton encourages those who qualify to apply.
These grants are tremendous because basically they allow us to focus on our core business. Now I can get back to employing people, selling drums, offering lessons, and do the things that I do best.
There's a couple more specifics you'll want to look into if you decide to apply. We'll have the details up on KGW.com. The application window opens Friday for 10 days. The first recipients will be notified on July 10th. If you don't get the money the first time around, there are 4 more rounds through the beginning of next year. David?
Yeah, focusing on their businesses instead of just cleaning up. Thank you, Alma.